Okay, the package has arrived, so let's have a look what we've got. The motor, crank motor. We've got battery. We've got, I think this is the main sprocket. Yep, and a guard. That's the 44 tooth. So it's a little bit bigger than the one that's on the bike, but hopefully not too much bigger, otherwise the chain will be too tight and I'll have to go and buy a longer chain. But hopefully this will be close enough. And then we've also got the display. So this is where you control is what everything plugs into, and it gives you the time and a little screen that shows you how much power you're using, etc. And then we've got what's this, the brake levers probably. Yeah, so that's the brake levers with they've got each brake lever's got a cutout switch in it, so if you pull the brake, it cuts the motor, because obviously you don't want to be powering against your brakes. So there should be two of those, one for each side. The other one, yeah. Okay, so that's the brake levers. And then I also ordered a phone holder to go on the handlebars, so you can put your mobile phone on there, so you can use Google Maps or something while you're cycling, and pack a little charge cables, because there's a little USB port on the bottom of the display which gets its power from the battery, so you can use that to keep your phone charged up while you're cycling. And an adapter for the battery tray. So the battery sits on a tray. The tray can clamp to the diagonal beam on the bike's frame, using the two bolts that are there for the sort of water bottle, but they don't always line up perfectly, and this adapter bracket, if they don't line up, will line up with those water bottle screws. And so you screw this to the vertical frame, and then you screw the battery backing plate onto that, and then it just makes it a bit easier. When I did mine, I didn't have one of these, and when I tried to fit the battery backing plate on mine, it didn't fit properly, because the screws were not in the right place. So I had to drill a couple of holes in my frame of my new bike and use some self-tapping screws to attach the battery backing plate to the frame, which works fine. It's just not the most elegant solution. So this time I've bought one of these backing plates, and that should make for a better solution overall. But so you see, it's just some screws and a metal plate. So the two screws for the water bottle sort of will go through there and clamp this onto the diagonal beam of the frame, and then you can screw the battery backing plate on using these here. So yeah, it should just make life a bit easier. Now there should also be a light, a front headlight, and some other bits. So I'm wondering if they are in here. It should have a front headlight, a tail light, yeah, here we go. So here's the other stuff that it said it came with. So you've got a tool for tightening up the crank motor. Once you've inserted in position, you need this special tool to tighten up the nut that keeps it all in place. When I built my bike, it didn't come with one of these, so I had to buy that separately. So I've actually got one of these already, but it doesn't matter. And they've handily sent you a load of black cable ties, which is useful, and some screws, which are presumably to mount the lamps. And then here you've got, these are the various bits of bracket that tool is for in order to clamp the motor in place. You've got your pedals there, and then in here, that's your thumb throttle. You just put that on there and you just push that with your thumb and that'll make it go fast. You've got a tool that you need to basically get the pedals on and off. This is the speed sensor, which you'll need to put on probably the back wheel, so that the unit knows how fast you're travelling and how much assistance to apply. There's your headlight. That's the same as the one that came with my kit. It comes with a set of white gloves. I used to have some of these back in the day for doing mime when I did breakdancing, but I don't think there's much call for them now. A converter cable between what's that, an XT60 and just positive and negative. Not sure whether I'll need that or not, probably. And then there is the crank motor itself. So this bit goes through where your pedals currently go, and the two pedal bars go on there, and then you've got all the cables here for the speed sensor and the display and the brakes, cut-offs, and the power, etc. So I had a feeling that it was supposed to come with a rear light as well, but that doesn't look to be the case. So that's it. that's all the bits. The only thing left to do now is to get started on the build. So let's get on with it. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this reflector, because we won't need that. We'll have a front headlight, and I'm going to remove the bell because the bell is going to go on this side, because on this side this is the gear shifter for the front derailleur, and that's all coming off, so this gear shifter won't be there anymore, and in its place is going to be the thumb throttle and the power selector buttons, which means this is a bit in the way, so I'm going to move this over to this side. So initially I'm just going to take this off and take this off. Okay, so that's the bell and the reflector off, so now I'll turn the bike over. So I'm going to take off this front derailleur now, because we don't need that. To take the derailleur off, you've got to take the chain off, because the chain runs through the derailleur, and there's no way to get the chain out without separating it. So you need to look for the part of the chain that's got the split link on it, which will look different from all the others. There it is. That one. I think when I did my bike, mine didn't have one of these split links on it, and I had to use a tool to separate the chain. But hopefully you won't need to do that, but if you do, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that show you how to do that. So, what I'm going to do is just bend this round. So you get oily hands, and you have to push on both sides. Oop. Not the easiest job. Now some of them have this little toggle on the end. You have to cut that off to pull it through, but it's okay because you won't need to use this again. and pull through that. You can pull this whole wire out here. And now we can just remove the gear shifter on the handlebar. So because we're removing this one from this side, and I mean on the bike that you get it might be different. This is the side I'm going to put the thumb throttle, because it'll have more space, because this side's still got the shifter for the rear, which you'll want to keep potentially. You don't technically need to, because the motor will provide all the extra power you need if it gets difficult. You probably won't need to change gear. So just need to prise that apart. There we go. So there's the gear shifter. Let's get the pedals off now. Now we need to get these off, and I believe the way that you get these off is with the tool that they provided in the box. This. I think what you do is you screw that in there. A bit tighter, and then I'll put one there. I don't have the correct size spanner. That's how much it will. I need a 16. What a surprise, I don't have a 16. The one size spanner that I need. And I don't have a 16 in here either. 14 and a 17. How very useful. Maybe that one's big enough. There you go. So the way this works, in order to get the pedal off, you basically screw this bit into the pedal and then just nip it up tight a little bit, not too much, And then once you've got that in tight, when you turn this one, it pushes the pedal off of the lever until it comes through. And that pushes it off. So you might be able to reuse these with the crank motor. It does come with its own, but these ones have got nice graphics on, so if I can reuse them I will. I just need to get the one off on the other side, and that will get the sprocket off. And then we should be able to take the whole spindle out in the middle, and that should be what we need to do to get the motor in. Okay, so just nip that up a little bit, doesn't have to be too tight, and then start tightening this one, and then as you tighten it, it will push the pedal off. Okay, so we've got all the stuff off. So now we need to get the whole spindle out, and there's a special tool for that as well.